Night-flier here, aka Pure Freakout 10, bringing another episode of the Movie Review Show with the good movies are always reviewed. Okay, back into our movie review today. And we're continuing the first month of Scream Fest. Okay, back into our movie review today. Now, today's episode of Scream Fest is going to be a film that is another adaptation from a book by the one, the only Stephen King. Now, I've already talked about a couple of Stephen King's films in the past, but in case you've been living under a rock or haven't been in the horror industry or just haven't got the time to watch films, here's a little background. Stephen King is a horror author who was born and made, best known for giving us short stories such as Carrie, The Dead Zone, Pet Sematary, The Silver Bullet, and Graveyard Shift, Children of the Corn, and The Shining. That's only to name a few. And, of course, directors who loved this story so much decided, hey, if a story can do it, let's bring it to the screen. So we've got movies such as The Shining, Carrie, The Graveyard Shift, which is an awesome film, and Children of the Corn. However, in between those films, there were some that mended extremely mixed results, and some that are just plain bad. I burped, that's how I feel about some of those films. And there are also some that just remain completely under the radar. The ones that I enjoy are Graveyard Shift, Children of the Corn, Pet Sematary, and I like the second one a little bit more than the first. What else? I like a lot of his films. The Silver Bullet and The Shining, all of which are great films. But there's this one that I watched for the first time yesterday, and I never even knew about this film. Well, I did, but I never exactly saw it until I saw Cool Dude's review, and he listed as one of his favorite films of the 90s. And it's a film that remains completely under the radar, and if you're a Stephen King fan and have a movie collection, you probably might have not saw this, but if you did, kudos to you. And this is one that it remains completely under the radar, and it's a film that I think is a different approach for Stephen King, and it's a new idea. And that film is none other than Stephen King's Night-flier. Now, Night-flier was made in the year 1997. 1997. It was directed by Mark Pavia, who I don't know anything about. You just look him up. Why does that name sound familiar? Mark Pavia. He's directed a short called Dragged, and he got a special thanks in some of the films, so really he's only directed 2 films. The film has a surprisingly decent cast. Some you might not know, but some, to me, have some talent in this film, and some of them you might know, or if you don't know of, too bad. But one of them came as a surprise to me because this is a guy who's been in a few films that I enjoy. Miguel Ferrer as the main character. You might remember him from RoboCop. He was the main guy who helped build RoboCop. You know, you're gonna be a bad mother effer. You know, that guy. That's Miguel Ferrer. He also had a quick role in The Guardian, and then he was out. You also got Julia Enswile, Dan Monahan, Michael H. Moss, and a bunch of other people. And as I said, this is a book based off a Stephen King short story called The Night-flier. And just want to point out real quick, I love this cover. I think the cover is really cool. I like that whole thing, the plane and the bats and the vampire up there. which is one thing I do gotta say. They keep the monster a secret throughout the film, but they put his face on the cover. Like, did the people even watch the film and did they want to ruin it? I mean, it was HBO Home Video. I don't know what the HBO Home Video was talking about. But it's a cool cover, don't get me wrong. I just don't see what was the point of keeping a monster the secret of the whole film and trying to find out what it was if you're going to put its face on the front cover. But still. Now, a lot of people bash this film. A lot of people do not seem to like it, and there is one thing I can understand why, but I gotta say, I think this is probably one of Stephen King's movie adaptations that I think is underrated and I think deserves more credit. I think it's probably up there with The Graveyard Shift. I'd probably have to say that. Yeah, there is one thing I can understand why people hate this film, and it is easy to see why. But there are some things that I do like about the film, and it is well done. But I'll get into why I like this film later. Anyway, put that right there. Anyway, pull it up farther. There we go. But the basic plot of the movie is basically this. We meet this guy named Richard Dees, played by Miguel Ferrer, who takes his work seriously because he's working at a newspaper place called Inside View, and the minute you meet this guy, he's a total jerk. He's selfish, he cares about no one but himself, and especially when meeting someone new, he's eager to push them aside and say, I do things my way, and this is how it's done. Yeah, that's basically the whole character. I gotta itch my nose. I don't know why, I have a tendency to itch my nose when I'm doing a review. It's probably this hat. I gotta take that off, it's hot in here. But he takes his work seriously. He doesn't care who wants to help him or not, and especially when meeting someone new, he just pushes them aside and says, I want to do things my way. But in the movie, we find out that at the beginning of the film, we see this plane come in at this airport, and basically one of the people working the flight ground gets murdered, and Richard gets the story to go and take a look at it. And at first, this other girl named, I forget her name, but she's played by Julie Entwistle, who also wants the story, but he comes and takes it from her, and basically he goes down and starts looking at the places where that person was murdered. And we find out that this guy is doing it for a long time. The guy right here is a vampire named what's his name? Dwight Renfield. Dwight Renfield is basically this pilot in like this plane, Luna something, that's the name of the plane. He flies into airports and he kills off anybody who comes in sight of him, and they strike it awe because throughout the film we see him wearing a cape and people start to be suspicious of that, and he continues to do this. So now Richard decides that he's going to try and get to the story, and as well as try and stop this guy before Julie Entwistle's character gets to the story first and actually takes it from him, and they start to develop this whole like partnership thing, which goes bad and everything. Spoiled it. But basically, now it's up to him to figure out how to stop this thing and try and give the story of his life. Will he be able to survive the vampire's rampage, or will he be the next one to be a guest on the vampire's flight of doom, which he can never get off? But yeah, Night-flier is a film that I found unique, and I think it's a unique story. I think that the book is also pretty unique too. With a story like this, I think it's really well done. I think that the idea is smart. I like the idea of a guy who flies this plane and he'll fly in and basically kill people in the airports. And it's very smart too. I like the look of the vampire. I think he's really cool, and I think the actor Michael H. Moss does a great job portraying him. And it's really unique too. I mean, like the cinematography is very well done in this film. I like some of the shots in the film, like the part where Miguel Ferrer, he goes to the cemetery and he drips blood on one of the guys that died, and it cuts to Dwight flying the plane, and he looks back like this, and basically you get the impression that he knows that he's doing this, and I just thought the cinematography was really well done, and a lot of just the whole atmosphere to it was really well done. The music, I thought it was adapted really well, and it fits the tone of the book really well. And it's really well written too. It stays true to the book, even though there is a surprise ending, which does change a little bit from the book. Just not really, like, it doesn't change the whole ending. It just changes it a slim bit. So if you're gonna go nuts and say the ending's bad, it's just a slim chance that it's gonna change. So yeah, but I like the whole idea of the film. I like how they don't reveal the guy's face, and you start to get the impression that he is a vampire and such, even though they admitted right from the start that they think it's a vampire because you see, like, bite because they say it's a vampire. But I like the fact that they don't exploit it like, oh my god, it's a vampire. They don't do it like that. They just keep it a mystery. Like, is it a vampire or is it just some crazy cannibal biting people? I like that whole mystery aspect to it. But I will say this. I wish they kept it more of a mystery. Like, why, like, this guy is wearing a cape and everything, and he has curtains on the thing, and I would have liked it if it was more of a mystery. That's the one thing that I feel would have been a lot better. But other than that, I think that it's still well done, the story. I think it's really well written, and I think it's really cool. I mean, some of the scenes are also really, really creepy too, like the parts where Dwight is talking with him on the radio, and you hear the screaming in the background because he's killing all these people in the airport. He mauls the whole airport. He mauls it in like 2 minutes. There could have been like an army in there or something, but he manages to maul it in like 50 seconds. Let me just see if there's a scene in there. There's not, but he mauls the whole airport in this scene. Like, it could have taken like 10 minutes to maul that whole airport, but not for this guy. He mauls it in like 1 second. But the story's well done. The acting's pretty good too. I mean, Miguel Ferrer does a good job. I mean, the character he's playing, you really hate at first. You really hate because throughout the film, he's a jerk. You don't really want to care for this guy. He really pushes people around. You really hate this guy, but the movie itself tries to show that he's changing and everything, and you want to buy it and everything, but you still feel that this guy is a jerk, and you just want to see him die. That's the main problem that I have with this film, is its main character. I think he's a jerk. As good as Miguel Ferrer's portrayal of him, it's just the character he's portraying I did not like. I thought it was hard to be involved with him. It was hard to have sympathy for him because of the way he acts towards people. I just did not care for his character. I thought he was just a jerk. I just didn't care for him. I mean, there are jerky characters that I don't mind. Like, a lot of people just really don't care for characters that are annoying. Like, I can stand Adam Sandler and Little Nicky. I can stand John Leguizamo and Spawn. I can stand Adam Sandler, and that's my boy. I can stand him in those films, but this guy is a complete jerk. He pushes just what he does in this film. I just did not like him. I thought he was annoying. You had no sympathy for him, as I said. It just, ugh. But yeah, but the acting from him is well done. Miguel Ferrer is a good actor, so yeah, that's the one thing that saves his character. But the other actors do well. Julie Entwistle, I thought, did a good job. I thought she was likable. I wanted her to survive. I wanted her to be the main character. I thought it would have been better if she was the main character. I mean, yeah, it's being adapted from a book, but I just would have felt better if it was her who was the main character, because she's much better to sympathize than that guy. Alright, but overall, even though I don't like the main character, it's nice to have a guy as a main character. Whereas most movies nowadays, you mostly get, like, the woman has to be the main character, thanks to Alien, because it's always the Ripley wannabe and such. But it's nice to see a guy as a main character. But the other actors do their parts really well, but the person who steals the soul is Michael H. Moss, who I think does a fantastic job as Dwight. I mean, he's creepy. He really puts himself in this character, and just the whole voice he gives, like the part where as I said, he was talking on the radio. That voice he gave was chilling, and I thought that each moment he was on screen, I thought that he was the highlight of the film. I thought that he did a fantastic job with the character, and I think he knew what kind of movie he was in for. I think he knew just the fact that he was just going to have fun with the movie and just give it his all. I thought he was really well done, and it's a different type of vampire, too. I think he does a good job adapting it from the Stephen King book. So, yeah, that's definitely one thing I gotta say, is Michael H. Moss's performance. Yeah, and the ending with his character is really shocking, too. I did not see that coming. I mean, there, too. I like these snap cases, too. Just a quick little side note. I don't know why people hate these things. But, yeah, the acting in the film is surprisingly well done. Now, the movie runs at a fast pace, too, which is another thing that I enjoy. And I do have to admit, I think that the special effects are astounding. K&B, who did the effects for Hellraiser and Nightbreed, which, I have to be honest, K&B is one of my favorite effects group. I think that they designed probably the best monsters, probably one of the most unique looking monsters out there. I think that they did a good job with the effects in this film. I thought they were really creepy, really cool looking, and it's definitely bloody, this film. This film is definitely R-rated. It definitely has a lot of gore in it. It definitely does have a lot of... It definitely has a lot going for it. And it's definitely gory, and it's definitely fun to watch the gore. So the gore is well done. The gore is one of the highlights of the film. Now, the film itself is actually really well done. I mean, I don't like Miguel Ferrer's performance as the character. Actually, I don't like the character Miguel Ferrer was playing, but I thought he did a good job. I think he's fine. I like Michael H. Moss. I like Julie Entwistle. I like the atmosphere, and I think it stays true to the book. And I guess the main problem with the film, I do have with the film is probably the fact that they don't keep the vampire a mystery. Like, is it a vampire or not? Because I would have liked to know if it was just something wrong with the guy, or if it was he was doing the killings. It could have been done many other ways, but it's adapting from a Stephen King book, so I give it that. But still, the vampire was cool and all. The vampire was really cool. Like, I like how, I just love what they did with the vampire and everything, and I thought it was really well done. So, overall, it's not bad. It's definitely, I think, deserves much more than it has been given. I mean, it's definitely a very good monster film, and I think it's a unique one at that. So if you're looking for a different vampire film and you want it to be done in Stephen King form, I definitely recommend you go see Night-flier. It's definitely a well-made, well-thought-out film, and it's not the greatest vampire film, and Miguel Ferrera's character is a complete jerk, but I can understand what Stephen King was trying to do. There are guys who are like that, and I think Stephen King wanted you to hate his character. But overall, it's not bad. Definitely not as bad as some people have said, and I definitely would check it out. So overall, I give Stephen King's Night-flier an 8.5 out of 10. And it's a unique movie. It's not fantastic, but it is well made. It's probably, to me, one of those films that I think is one of Stephen King's most unique stories. And I think it deserves more praise than has been given. I think this movie deserves more praise than has been given. So yeah, I think that this is a good film. So if you want a good Halloween film with a different vampire, here's your film. But that's my review for Night-flier. Next time, I'm going to do a review on Species. Been wanting to review this for a while. And then I'm going to review Species 2. I have both of these. I did a DVD update with this one. Really excited to watch those two films. I'll tell you guys what I think of them. And then next time I'm going to do a review on, then after that I have Silent Hill, which I'm going to review after. Really excited to watch this film, and I'll tell you guys what I think of it. And then after, I'm going to do Hotel Transylvania, and have a few others I want to talk about. So, yeah. I'll see you guys later. Tell me what you guys think of Night-flier. If you guys have seen it, in the comments below. And be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.